NFL time. It's NFL time. There's so much to talk about. There's some. We're gonna have a back to the office segment. We're gonna have a time to hang up the cleats. Simply talking about a lot of free agency that's going on as of like this point since free agency began earlier this week. I'm so thirsty. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start the NFL this segment with a sub segment. I'm gonna call it sub segment, as we have a little as we have two retirements, as we like to call it. Time to hang up the cleats. Retirements. Two players, both of the NFC, include Fletcher Cox and Aaron Donald. Fletcher Cox, who spent his 12-year career with the Eagles, has officially decided to hang up the cleats after a career with 6 Pro Bowls, four All-Pro selections, 1 first team and 3 second team, and being a Super Bowl 52 champion. Jason Kelce also retired, but we mentioned that last episode. And it was actually some breaking news about I believe on Wednesday or Thursday of this week, around the March 15th, March 14th, Aaron Donald, who was at 32 years of age, has called it quits and has decided to retire at the age of only 32. He spent with his 10-year career with the Rams, both in St. Louis and Los Angeles, as he was a 10-time Pro Bowler, had 8 first-team All-Pro selections, 3 Defensive Player of the Years in 2017, 2018, and 2020. He was a 2014 Defensive Rookie of the Year and a Super Bowl 56 champion. So best of luck, best of wishes, and just have a great retirement to those two, as well as Jason Kelce. Another little segment we have is called Back in the Office, as we have some head coaches being talked about, which include Dan Campbell and Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel? Well, you might be thinking, well, Mike Vrabel, no. All the head coaching slots or vacancies have been filled, so why are we talking about Mike Vrabel? Well, we'll get into that in a second. As we're going to go ahead and go to Detroit, Michigan with the Lions as team's general manager Brad Holmes and head coach Dan Campbell have landed contract extensions after their playoff run. The Lions advanced the NFC Championship game for the first time since the 1991 campaign and rewarded 2 of the primary people who helped make it happen. On Thursday, the Lions announced head coach Dan Campbell and general manager Brad Holmes agreed to multi-year contract extensions that will keep them both in Detroit through the 2027 season. We are thrilled to have Brad and Dan under contract for the next 4 seasons, team owner Sheila Hamp said. They have been the driving force behind the rebuild of our football team and the success that we have enjoyed. The continuity of they provided for our football program will continue to be the key to our future success on the field. Campbell, who played tight end for the Lions for 3 seasons from 2006 to 08, has orchestrated quite the turnaround in Detroit, as he took over as the head coach ahead of the 2021 season and turned heads with an introductory press conference that included references to biting kneecaps. While it was easy to make jokes at the time, especially given the franchise's history, he now has the Lions in a place where they are one of the best teams in the league. That wasn't always the case, as they went 3-13 in his first season. However, the foundation was put in place for a jump to 9-8 in 2022 and 12-5 this past season. Not only did the Lions advance far into the playoffs and win a division crown for the first time since the 1993 season, and they were on the verge of reaching their first ever Super Bowl with a 24-7 halftime lead over the 49ers in the championship game, before they let it slip away with the poor second half performance, which you can think one of their defensive players waved into the crowd before the halftime. Still, there is a reason for optimism after such a run, especially given the roster Holmes has constructed. The general manager took over ahead of the 2021 season as well, and has been an important figure in the turnaround, thanks to draft picks such as Aiden Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Penny Sewell, and Brian Branch. Prior to joining Detroit, Holmes worked for the Los Angeles Rams for 18 years in various roles, including Director of College Scouting. And it's kind of funny to think how they made it to the NFC Championship game and did so well. 12-5, division title, all these great things. And I think about the Cowboys, how they lost, how the Lions complained and got really upset after losing a game over a controversial call. But I'm thinking it wasn't really worth all that fuss about it because y'all made it further than the Cowboys. So, anyways, we're going to move on to our second piece of Back in the Office, as the Browns have hired former Titans head coach, who was fired earlier this season, Mike Vrabel, to be their new coaching and personal consultant per Adam Schefter and Phil Yates of ESPN. Thoughts on this? Pretty interesting. Glad that he's in another coaching role and seeing how Cleveland's coming off a decent season, going 11-6. I think he could fit pretty well with the team. Vrabel served as the Titans head coach for 6 seasons from 2018 to 2013 before his firing in January after 6-11 season with missing the playoffs. His resume consists of 3 playoff appearances from 2019 to 2021, an NFC title game appearance in 2019 where they lost to the Chiefs, 2 divisional titles in 2020 and 2021, including wild card and divisional round exits. And for the divisional round exits, the 2 seasons, I believe it was 2 seasons in a row, they were the first seed. They had the number 1 seed, the playoffs bye for the time being, and they ended up losing. One of them being a big-time upset to the Cincinnati Bengals and Evan McPherson, as they were the team that went on to face the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game and won that game. And went on to the Super Bowl to lose to the Aaron Donald-led LA Rams. Question remains, could he have gone elsewhere? Well, he could have. He interviewed with Atlanta Falcons, who ended up hiring former Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, and the LA Chargers, who ended up hiring former Michigan head coach and national championship title-winning coach Jim Harbaugh, but was not hired to remain as an NFL head coach this season. So what is he joining in Cleveland? He is joining a decent Browns team that went 11-6, reached the playoffs, and lost in the wild card round to the Texans. Now on to my favorite segment, the segment I've been looking forward to talking about all week with so much going on. Free agency has officially begun. Now we split this up into 3 categories, 3 different little things as we have. We're talking about releases, trades, and signings as we split it up into different segments as time to pack your bags, releases, on new places, trades, and same faces, same places, new contract with re-signings, contract restructures, and extensions. And then it's going to be new faces, and new places with signings elsewhere. Now we're going to start it with some releases. Time to pack your bags, saying to 3 receivers and a quarterback. As wide receiver Michael Thomas has been released by the New Orleans Saints. Wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. The Ravens released the former All-Pro wide receiver after 1 season in Baltimore, with destination as a post June 1st cut. Beckham signed a 1-year deal with the team during the last offseason, and the team signed him an extension in January for the designation. This move puts the team at $2.76 million in dead cap tied to Beckham in 2024, and $8.301 million in 2025, rather than $11.068 million in 2024. His extension had a $50 million base salary for 2025 that would have become fully guaranteed if he wasn't released before March 14th. Wide receiver Mike Williams, after 7 seasons with the Chargers, Mike Williams has been released by the Los Angeles Chargers to save $20 million against the salary cap. The Chargers, who are $27 million over the cap at the start of Wednesday, will save $20 million on the books with this move. Williams was set for a base salary of $17 million and a $3 million roster bonus, and count for a total of $32.5 million on the cap, but instead carries $12.5 million in dead cap. He was a first-round pick back in 2017, as he served for most of his time with the team as the number 2 wide receiver behind Keenan Allen. Operating mostly as a deep threat complement to Allen, he had over 1,000 yards, twice between 2019 and 2022. However, he tore his ACL in Week 3 of the 2023 season and missed the rest of the year. Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback of the Raiders, after a terrible season with 6 starts, 7 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, and being benched for Aiden O'Connell, the Raiders cut the veteran quarterback in a cost-cutting move to take a $17.1 million dead cap hit, but will save at least $11.3 million in salary cap. And at the time of this recording, yesterday, so before this recording, he ended up signing with the Los Angeles Rams to be the backup for Matthew Stafford. On to trades, on to new places with some new faces, through some trades. It started hot as quarterback Mac Jones is heading from New England to the Jacksonville Jaguars, as Jones to Jacksonville in exchange for a 2024 6th-round pick. Running back Joe Mixon was originally released by Cincinnati, which was followed by Zach Moss signing with the Bengals on a 2-year, $8 million deal. He ended up traded to the Houston Texans to get them a much-needed running back piece, with Devin Singletary leaving for the New York Giants. Mixon was traded to Houston in exchange for a 2024 7th-round pick. For Mike Jones comes a backup quarterback to Trevor Lawrence. Linebacker Brian Burns was traded from Carolina to the New York Giants, as I can simply say it was a defensive star fleece, as Burns and a 2024 5th-round pick is heading to New York in exchange for a 2024 2nd, 2024 5th, and a 2025 conditional 5th-round pick. Burns was originally placed on a non-exclusive franchise tag to receive $24 million, but since he was traded, he has signed a 5-year, $150 million contract with $87.5 million guaranteed. And speaking of the Panthers, wide receiver Deontay Johnson has been traded from Pittsburgh to the Panthers to help give Bryce Young another wide receiver target to have for this season, for the upcoming season, as Johnson in a 2024 7th round pick has been sent to Carolina in exchange for cornerback Dante Jackson and a 2024 6th-round pick. The Detroit Lions have upgraded the secondary as they are able to fleece the Buccaneers for cornerback Carlton Davis, as Davis, a 2024 and 2025 6th-round selections, are heading to Detroit in exchange for a 2024 3rd-round pick. The New York Jets upgrade their offensive line as they're able to get Ravens offensive tackle Morgan Moses, and they, in exchange for Moses and a 2024 4th-round pick to New York, the Ravens will receive a 2024 4th and 6th-round picks. Wide receiver Keenan Allen is leaving the Los Angeles Chargers and heading to Chicago because of their salary, because of the Chargers' salary cap. And the purpose of making this move is for their salary cap, just like the Cowboys did with Amari Cooper, as Keenan Allen is heading to Chicago in exchange for a 2024 4th-round selection. It has been made clear that the Washington Commanders are all in and fully committed to drafting a quarterback this year with their 2nd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, as they are moving on from Sam Howell, who got sacked numerous times this season, as they are sending Howell a 2024 4th and 6th-round selections to Seattle in exchange for a 2024 3rd and 5th-round picks. It looks like these two teams that we're going to talk about next and these two trades make sense, as these teams are committed to their quarterbacks they have signed, as the Falcons have traded Desmond Ridder to the Cardinals, making it very clear that they are committed to Kirk Cousins, as Ridder is going to Arizona in exchange for wide receiver Rondale Moore, which gives Kirk Cousins another target, along with Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson too. Kenny Pickett of the Steelers has been officially traded to the Eagles, showing that Pittsburgh is not only committed to Russell Wilson, but the Eagles have gotten their backup quarterback, because Marcus Mariota, who was their backup quarterback behind Jalen Hurts, has officially left elsewhere to go to divisional rival Washington Commanders. And it's a good thing for the Eagles to do this, because this gets them a backup quarterback. But the downside, besides the Steelers being committed to Russell Wilson, They end up losing their they literally have no backup quarterbacks because Mitch Trubisky signed to Buffalo, Mason Rudolph signed to Tennessee, and Pickett is out in Philly, as he was traded as well as a 2024 fourth-round pick to Philly in exchange for a 2024 third and two seventh-round picks.